I'm blind. What's going on, y'all? I need some light here. My basement is not good for lighting. Let me turn. All right, dang, all right, y'all. Let me go back to YouTube. I am gonna post on my YouTube page while I am going live. Let's see if I can find it on my YouTube page right quick. Can I find it? I meant to send him my gun. Hold on, let me make sure. I'm trying to find my page on what's the name, y'all. What's going on, peoples? I'm trying to find. Hold on, I'm trying to see if I can find my own live. Hold on, y'all. Anybody know how to tell me how to? I'm trying to figure out how to. Let me see. Go home, go there. I'm trying to. Where did I go? Let's see something. Y'all trying to see something. Cause I put my Instagram up. I was trying to see how to go on my phone and go on YouTube. What's going on, DJ Play Nice? The Ewings. Speaking of, they been hitting them Ewings hard, y'all. I want them tan and pink ones. Miss Ewing got. I saw those. I saw you post those. Those were nice. I be looking. I'm trying to figure out how to do this, y'all. Then we gonna jump into the subject for the night. Well, for the day, because it ain't night. I don't know why I'm thinking for the night. Like it's already nighttime. I thought I should be able to. You know what? Let's try something. You know, I'm trying to figure out how to do my patches because I want to start doing my patches. I'll let y'all know. Of course, it costs money. Let's see something, y'all. Let's see what I can do. I want to subscribe to myself. Then I want to subscribe to myself. I want to. Okay, here we go. All right, y'all. I found out how to get on my Facebook. All right, cool. She is Sunshine is in here. What's going on, young lady? What is going on? I ain't seen her name in a minute. Maybe she has been in here, but I haven't been paying attention. Let me not do that. Let me not put nobody on spot, and I don't know what I'm talking about. What's going on? All right, so I got my phone set up to my what's the name? So I'm good on that. Got that going on my actual channel. So if anybody pop on my channel, they can know I'm on live. So y'all, we gonna get into a topic I heard over this week. I am so sorry, Sunshine. Do not take it. Don't what they say? What's that saying? Dang, what is that saying? Oh my god, why I can't think of the saying? Don't blame it on my Don't blame it on my heart, blame it on my mind. I'm so sorry. I think that's what I'm trying to say. There you go. Yeah. What's up, y'all? Anybody going to the meetup in the chat? I'm not gonna be there this year, unfortunately. I have another family trip. Anybody that's been on my lives, been in my videos, know that I do every other year. I go to the meetup now. Hey, y'all, let me unplug my that's my dang on smoke detector. Let me unplug it. Well, let me take the what's the name off. Okay, y'all not gonna hear no beeping. I just took the battery out of the smoke detector, so no beeping. Beeping is upstairs. Okay, Sunshine ain't going. I see she ain't going. But let's get into Big Ron. Let me do. I forgot to share the. Hold on, y'all. We gonna bring Big Ron on here. I've been following him for at least about 2 years. Great channel. Dang, invite. No, I don't want to invite. Extra camera. No, I don't want a PDF file. I'll share screen. That's what I want. So shout out to Big Ron. We're gonna BIGRAAN. Go check them out, man. Great channel. I've been following for about 2 years now. Close to 2 years. Probably
this trigger at this price point. This joint right here is dummy nice. And that's why I carry it. But so far, this right here is one of my favorite joints in the collection. And I wouldn't switch up on it just yet. Because at this price point, you get a lot of features that you would get in the price point of something that's about 2 times the price. So I'm really digging this right.
Let me tell you, more brave than I am.
Fun thing. I love fun thing. My first shooter fam joint right here. My Glock 23 Gen 5. That right there, those are the 762 Terry colors. These are also the colors that are in my logo. I love this thing, man. I got the Olight PL3 on there. And I haven't done much to it outside of the Cerakote. I don't need ports on this thing because Glock already put a heavier barrel. Not barrel.
Shout out to him, man, and what he's doing over there on his channel. So go check out Big Ron, BIGRAAN. And we gonna talk about and I'm gonna go ahead and go on and invite people. We're gonna talk about parents. We're gonna talk about these parents, y'all. I ain't the perfect father, but some of these parents don't need to be parents. Hold on. Some of these parents don't need to be parents. This week it came out with a mother helping her son plot to do a school shooting. We talk about these babies being unhealthy, but some of these parents are unhealthy as well. Very, very unhealthy are some of these parents, which I couldn't believe that a parent would help. Well, no, let me take that back. I can't believe it, but it's so unreal that you would help your son plot. If anybody don't know, go look on my Instagram account. And we'll get into the trampoline more after we get through with this wonderful subject. Um, that's true, Sunshine. I agree. Um, some of these parents are unhealthy. As a parent being unhealthy, you're raising an unhealthy child. Um, and that's just the bottom line. We all with um being unhealthy and trying to raise a child. I'm not the one that's gonna sit here and say every time my child leaves my presence that they're on their best behavior. I'll be a fool to say that. I just hope he makes the right decision, that he won't put himself in prison. I hope he makes the right decision so he won't put himself in the grave. Being conscious, being aware of what's around you and who around you can be the difference between life and unliving, being alive. And so, I don't. One thing about me and my wife, we don't have a lot of people hanging around us. But if I invite you in my home, then I think very highly of you. If I don't invite you in my home, I don't think very highly of you. You're more of a, if I see you on the streets, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Catch you later. But once I invite you into my home, then your family. And you have to be a certain type of person, because I have children in my home that me and my wife are raising. You got to be a very special individual to be invited into my home, to even get my address. And to me, I feel the same way about going over someone else's house. You give me the invite to come over to your crib. That means that you're inviting me into a sacred space, which is your home. And so, with that being said, I don't put nobody else's beliefs on me, and I don't put my beliefs on anybody else. And so, unfortunately, we had a sick mother to go along with the bull crap of a kid, and end up finding out that they was going to do a school shooting within the next couple of days. That's true. That's very true. You didn't want to bring some of the stuff that some of these kids are willing to bring home. I was on the phone with a person that saw me grow up. I consider her a mother figure of mine. And we were just discussing, children and how children are these days. And she had somebody that was a neighbor or somebody she knew that worked in the office with her husband. A lawyer, attorney or something like that. Gave him the best life you could think of. Messed around with school, got a good job, but was in gang-related activities. And while his mother was out of town, they end up unaliving, coming by the house, end up unaliving him. And luckily the mother wasn't home. And they lit him up. And unfortunately, that was a tragedy in itself. Parents, you can't be naive. Children are going to do things outside of you. I did stuff outside my dad when I got away from him. You know, we all do it. At one point, we're all going to do it, rather, once you get of that age. But I didn't do nothing so drastically that it would affect my household and my father and my stepmother at the time. What's up, Baton Rouge? And so that's a big thing in honoring your family and not bringing bull crap to the house. And so, but we have parents getting themselves involved in their children's foolishness and not being responsible with what's going on. In order to raise a child, you have to be of a different type of mindset. Me and my son, he's in the Pokemon cards. I don't know what my Pokemon. He's in the Pokemon cards. But you know what I'm saying? I used to collect them when I was a kid. And so I got back into collecting them because he's into them. And so I just give y'all an example. I got 2 sleeves full of them. But this is what we call our time. When me and him battle with the Pokemon cards, that's our time. Now I'm definitely not out of touch with reality. And he isn't either. And he understands. You go out there and do something. Yeah, we'll try to get you a lawyer. We'll get you a lawyer, whatnot. We'll try to reduce your time. Do what we got to do, to try to keep you out. But ultimately, you have to keep yourself out. That means by putting yourself in certain situations, keeping yourself from being around certain people. That's including family. Family is not isn't exempt from this equation. I'm gonna give you another story. My nephew, smart kid, taught himself how to play the drums, taught himself how to play the keyboard, and now he's teaching himself how to play the guitar. My son, he's on a tenor. Eventually, I'm hoping that he'll learn how to play the snare. Both of them are very, 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 very talented when it comes to playing a certain type of instrument or many. But my mother always told him, man, don't get in trouble with your brothers. Don't run with your brothers. Your brothers, I wouldn't do it. Well, last week, got a call. My mom said he was in the car with his brothers. Now, mind you, these is half brothers. So his father has 3 boys outside my sister. That's older. And I think he got maybe 1 or 2 more kids after my nephew. But anyways, he was hanging out with them. Got pulled over. Everybody in the car ran and dipped, including my nephew. My nephew is not a street. He's nothing near street. He don't know nothing about the streets. He ain't never had to worry about the streets. Well, turned out to be it was a gun in the car at the time of them fleeing and running fleeing and running once they all got pulled over. Has to pay a nice amount of money as a fine, which my mom is going to him do, but he has to pay my mom back. She has to pull from such and such in order to get him to be a free man. But he's never going to be free. He's always going to have some type of record now because of the decisions that he decided to make. Like my mama told him, this is going to be your first and this is going to be your last time that I'm going to help you out. But he has to do the work. You know, he can't get in trouble. Quite sure he's probably going to be on probation or something. So, you know, with probation, if that's something he has to do, then, you know, certain jobs is not going to want to deal with him. And that's what my mom was trying to get through his thick head to understand. Yeah, them your brothers, but at the end of the day, you can say hi and bye. You ain't got to get in the car with them, especially if they always into something they ain't got no business being into. For wrong place, wrong time. You know, people always sometimes get unalive or get hit because they're driving the car or they in the passenger seat. You know, so you gotta be able to protect yourself, if anything. And so with parents, we gotta understand that our children are not gonna be perfect. You weren't perfect. Your children ain't gonna be perfect. Your grandchildren ain't gonna be perfect. Your mom, your dad, they weren't perfect. But what we try to prevent is doing the wrong thing that can ultimately destroy your life, whether that's financially, depends on what career you want to go into. You can't have any type of record. That means a felony, domestic violence. You can't have none of that. So it does affect ultimately your financial situation, your career choice situation, abusing kids, abusing women. You can't go into teaching with that type of record. I don't believe. Now I could be wrong, but that could affect your career. Depends on what career you want to get into. Yeah, you got to. You gotta. And sometimes, and I'll say this, sometimes we already know. You know, we know. You know this person was toxic. You know, certain cousins, it's always up to no good. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be the bigger person to say, well, you know, once you leave, you know, a party or some relatives party or the house, you know, if y'all want to hang, then I'm gonna get in my car. Y'all get in y'all car. We meet where we gonna meet, and then I'm gonna leave by myself. And so sometimes I tell you this: my cousin down in Arkansas, in the country, the police department know my cousin because it's a small country town in Little Rock, Arkansas. Very small population, probably under 2,000, maybe I want to say under 1,000. I want to say, and I could be wrong. So it's so small. But I went to school down there also, but it's just so small. But they know my cousin by name because he's a drug dealer. Well, I don't know if he's dealing drugs now, but you know, last time I was down there, I was like, well, where my cousin at? And my uncle was like, well, he in jail for what? Drug dealer. They know him by name. And so you ultimately create your own future by the choices that you make. And we're taught that from most of us. I mean, I say most of us, depends on who you had in your household, has been taught that. And some hasn't been taught that. You know, it's not their fault. But parents, don't be so naive that your children are doing anything outside your home. I just pray that it's not something that's going to ultimately jeopardize the career that they want to get into. Won't jeopardize their character and who they are and what they have been taught. And the only way to do that type of stuff is parents have to not be their child's friend. I'm not my child's friend, but if you need anything, you need to come to me and talk to me about something, I am available to come and talk to, because I don't want somebody that don't love you or somebody that's trying to plot to maybe try to unalive you or try to harm or hurt you, that you can't come and talk to me and have a conversation. Because in what they don't understand is I'm a always. Some parents don't. Let's get it correct. Some parents are just not that way, not equipped that way. But understanding that I'm doing it out of love. I'm giving you this advice out of experience, out of love, out of being way older than you. So you won't make the same mistakes. What's up, Integrity? Yeah, that's true. And I'm gonna tell y'all this: my dad didn't cry. Only time I seen my dad cry was when my great grandmother passed, and when we had to put our dog Lady down. That was the only time I seen my daddy cry. I tell my son all the time, man. You know, that's something that's been taught down to black men. Don't cry, go to work hard. And with my son, I say, man, it's okay. Hey, if you got to shed a tear and whatnot, go on, get it out the way. I don't think no less of you. You know what I'm saying? And so your children are going to make mistakes. That's the reason why you, as a mother or a father, are there to catch them when they fall. But letting them know and letting them understand that, yeah, you can make that mistake, but don't make it twice. Or don't make that mistake to where it's going to cost you your life. It's going to cost you the career you want to get into. It's going to cost you financially in the long run, because of the kind of jobs that you can't get. And so, parents, kids ain't your friend. I don't know. I tell my kids all the time, I'm not your friend, but I'm here anytime you need. Anytime you need some advice, anytime you need to sit down and talk about a situation you're going through. And my son just had a situation. I kind of had to pull it out of him because my wife called me. And me and him had a nice little conversation on leadership. He's a tenor, so he is basically the bass drum. If you ever seen the band, the bass drum is the real big bass drum that they sit and they hit side to side. But my son has a little one, which is called a tenor, which is a little smaller than a bass drum. And so they kind of got on him because the young lady that was there last year with him that taught him the 2 years that he was there, now she has gone to college this year. She graduated last year, which made him now the section leader. And like I told him, that's a responsibility, and that's something that they see in you that you have to step up to the plate. Like I told him, if you want to take a break from band, do that. But when you do that, you go let that band teacher know, hey, mentally, I need a little break. I'm gonna be missing practice today. But as a man, you have to stand on that. You know, you just cannot show up and then expect him not to have some type of misunderstanding because you didn't stand on your toes 10 toes. You didn't stand on your toes 10 toes down and just let them know what's going on. And that's a lot of things. A lot of us black men, we lack communication. And so I'm teaching him, well, if you're a session leader for a reason. And it's a way you talk to people. It's a way that you communicate with people to get people to understand. You just tell them, hey, I need y'all to focus a little bit harder. Hey, the band teacher, they getting on me. I need y'all to focus. You know, you don't have to be nasty. You don't have to cuss nobody out. but it's a way that you talk to people to get people to respond to you in a great way. And so now, as a father, I have to tell him it's okay to walk away and take a little break. But if you're going to walk away and take a little break as a man, you stand on what you believe. Okay, well, you go tell your band teacher that you need a mental break. Hey, I need to take the day off. I need to refocus, need to get right. If that's what you choose to do. Now, I didn't make that decision for my son, but I'm letting him know if that's the decision that you decide to make, stand on your toes, 10 toes down. Let your band teacher know that you need a little break. You'll be missing practice today, but you don't quit when somebody sees you. And he was doing in middle school, he was teaching high schoolers how to play the instrument that he's on now. So he's always been a student of music, but he's always been a also leader in the band room. When he didn't even know it. This is what, when he was first in middle school, he was teaching middle schoolers and high schoolers how to play the instrument that he's playing now. Now that you have the position, now that you are the session leader, now more pressure is being held upon you because now you hold that title. And so you got to understand as a man, hey, with leadership, much greater is expected of you. You know what I'm saying? And so you gotta grit it out. I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but I'm gonna give you some advice that, if you want to take a break, take that break. Ain't nothing wrong with taking a break. Sometimes I get mentally drained and I have to just sometimes, take a day off work, or if I have many vacation time, grab a day off work. I just don't feel like coming in. And so you have to understand that with communication, a lot of problems that a lot of people go through wouldn't even happen if you just communicated. And so, as his father, I'm learning through my children how to communicate effectively, and that's what I want. That's what I want him to learn. Communicate effectively, but also when you communicate, stand 10 toes down on what you believe in. So if you don't want to go to practice and you feeling a mental breakdown, then you need to let your leader know. You need to let that band teacher know. And then once that day is gone and it's bypassed, then let's get back on what you need to get back on. And so with us parents, man, planning a school shooting with your child is something I do not understand. I will never understand that. Bringing hurt to children, whether it's, I think, and I believe they said it was a high school that he was going to go shoot up. But elementary, middle school, high school, high school can really be a tough time for children. Don't get me wrong. If you ain't mentally, ready, or your parents ain't taught you about high school, and try to ease that landing. But with my son, I didn't have to really worry about that, because while he was in middle school, he was going to the high school to play in the band. And so they already knew him prior to the 2 years that he played in the band while he was in middle school. So the transition for him to high school was very, very easy. It wasn't too hard for him. He pretty much was in and out to high school. People pretty much knew who he was before he got to high school. So that transition for him was very, very easy. For other students and other children, it's not so easy. And I feel for you. But for my son, it was very easy for the transition. No hiccups, no none of that. It was, like I said, very easy for his little tail to transition from middle school to high school. And so, parents, you have to be these children's parents, not their friends. You can sympathize, you can talk, but you can't be their friend. There's no such thing as a friend and a parent. Now, it's a such thing as a great relationship with your child. You always want to have a great relationship with your children. Don't get me wrong. Um, but as a parent, you have to set them boundaries with your children, because if you don't set the boundaries, um, when I get out in the real, when they get out here in the real world, where and I tell this to my daughter all the time, you have to learn the word no. You won't get a plenty of no's when you grow up. When you get out of my house and you get on your own and you start dealing with the world, and you have to get yourself a job. You have to learn the word, how society works. And a lot of times you're going to get a no. You're going to get a door closed in your face. You're going to get opportunities that you thought was meant for you. Somebody else gets. And so we as parents, we have to prepare them for that. And, doing a school shooting, I don't know how you prepare your son or daughter. I don't know how you, I just don't know how you prepare them for the war that's coming up. And, just, I mean, how do you prepare them when you basically messing them up, from rejection? Because you're going to get rejected. You're going to get lied to. You're going to get hurt, which I mean your feelings. You're going to get the word no. So how do you react to things like that when when you have to operate in the real world? And just by doing that and helping him plan a school shooting is beyond my understanding. Um, I told the story too about my son when he was in elementary. Um, with a young girl from, now she one grade with him. Then the following year, she ended up in the same classroom with him as well. And she had two his book bag of some the first year. I just say that. That following year, she ended up ripping up a poster of his because she wanted to see it, but she couldn't understand the word no. My son said no. So in other words, my wife told him that morning, don't take that to school. But our children he wanted to take it, so it got ripped. And so I had to, at that point, I was fed up. So I had to schedule an appointment with the mother, and the behavioral, assistant principal. So he deals with the behavioral problems in the school. And so once we got there, he asked, what's the problem? And she says, well, he the one called for the meeting. So I said, oh yeah, I'm dealing with a ghetto one. Ghetto fabulous. Mama, ghetto fabulous is all outdoors. And so we got to talking, and I just said, well, for some reason, she can't seem to either keep her hands to herself, and I'm not understanding what the problem is. So she opens up her mouth. She says, well, she has brothers at home, and he needs to be more aggressive. I said, hold on. To me, I'm thinking to myself, like, why would you want somebody to be aggressive towards your daughter? For what? So we can have more of a bigger problem later? You need to tell your daughter to keep her hands to herself. That's the problem. Learn how, when somebody tell you no, keep your hands to yourself when somebody slapped it out of you. That's what I wanted to tell her and her mother. But no, I had to be a father. I had to be the one with the bigger, as they say, be the bigger person. And so I just had to naturally just say, well, son, you leave her alone. Don't say nothing to her. And, just hopefully this will go away. And my son started crying, which I understand. My son is, I had to really back off him because I'm like, you a little bit too emotional. But I had to digress and be like, it's going to be okay, son. But that taught me that a lot of parents send their children to school and there's no type of structure at home. So when they get to school, they are buck wild. You know what I'm saying? And so for you want my thing, what I couldn't understand is, is the mother being abused at home? Because I would never tell a father for them to have their son be aggressive to my daughter. That made no sense to me. You really gonna tell me what you say and be more aggressive? Nah, he not gonna be more aggressive. You just need to tell your daughter to keep her hands to herself. That's what you need to do. That's what I wanted to tell her. But I was room for two kids, so I had to kind of keep it civil because I was kind of hot after that response. But she gonna mess around and she gonna find out that being a little bit too aggressive gonna cost her job, because the mother's so ignorant to the point to where she not understanding that a lot of people are not going to go through necessary steps of what I'm going through, to call the principal, to set up a meeting, to kind of get squash this, and try to get this under control. But the fact that you told me you want my son to be more aggressive, nah, we ain't about to play that game. Your daughter need to keep her hands to herself. If it's a pencil, pen, if it belong to him, she need to keep her claws off of it. Just that simple. And that's the same thing I said, Sunshine. Like, why would that even come to your mind? Why would you even tell the father that you want my son to be more aggressive? I was done. I couldn't understand it. I was done. I was just like, and then she came up there with pajamas on with another baby, with a car seat baby. I was like, yeah, I don't know what she thinking of. And that's another thing, no accountability. Not holding your daughter to the accountability, and that's another bad thing. You raising her to be more aggressive, but also not taking accountability to what she's doing to others. Yep, you got it. And I teach my son all the time. You gotta be, and he'll find himself playing with his sister rough, and I say, hey son, you gotta kind of be kind of gentle with your sister. I understand your boy. I understand that you rough play a lot, but you have to be gentle with your sister. And so, yeah, that's definitely something that I teach my son, especially with his sister, being gentle when they playing, and my daughter jump on my son and jump on his back and jump on his head and stuff. And, that's just her being a little sister. But I definitely told him, you have to kind of take it easy on your sister. You can't just sling your sister around like she one of your homeboys at school. She's smaller, she's a little frail than what you're used to. Kind of be gentle with your sister. And that's another thing. I definitely agree. Them boys are gonna, you know what I'm saying? If they not if they're aggressive with their sister, man, they gonna be something else with a girlfriend. If you're telling me to treat your daughter, you know what I'm saying, just be more aggressive with her. That don't, any woman, don't be I don't believe in being aggressive with women, but I do believe in driving your point. Hey, this. I do believe in that. And not in the way of belligerent or calling her out her name, but just, hey, just, I need you to such and such, and take it from there. But it's and there's a lot of younger people raising younger people. And don't get me wrong, we had pregnant teenagers in high school, but the disregard for adults, and I have to catch myself with my son friends. They'll get the gun. Hey, come on. I only do so much. I know you outside your mom and your dad, but at least show me some respect. You know, you might slip up, whatever. I'm not saying you perfect children. They call me Pops. And so, you know what I'm saying? They adopted me as Pops. So he only hangs out with a certain most of them are in the percussion section with him that comes over to the house, hangs out at the house. And you know, now they call me Pops. So, you know, very close friends of his. But, you know, I have to tell him sometimes, hey, you know, you might want to ease up on the cuss word. You know what I'm saying? I know you're outside your mom and daddy, but kind of ease up a little bit. And so we're not friends to the point that I'm gonna help you do something wrong. I'm not gonna help you I'm not gonna help you plan to shoot up a school. I'm just not gonna do it. But I will help you by if you have any problems going to school and that's getting it solved. But I don't believe in just because you have a certain situation going on in school that I'm gonna help you plan to shoot up a school. It's not gonna happen. And you know, and anybody knows in this YouTube community, as a two-way community, you know, we have to be careful in how we deal with our children and our firearms. I'm the first to tell you, when my son and my daughter was small, because my daughter I used to carry. My son, when he was first born, I wasn't into guns like I am now today. I've been into guns 10 years. My son he'll be 15. This will be my 10th year. 15 and my daughter will be 12. So my daughter was basically I'm going to say about 2 years. No. So my daughter's right around 2-ish when I started carrying, when I started really getting into guns like that. My son, so he had to be right around 5 at the time. And so my daughter used to, you know, grab at my gun. I had it in a holster, so I wasn't worried about her pulling on trigger and letting it go off because it was holstered at all times. And one day, you know, when I got a little older, I took the magazine out the firearm. I racked it, made sure wasn't nothing in the barrel, in the chamber, and I gave it to him. They said, "Oh, Dad, this is heavy." I said, "That's the difference between son. That's the difference between and I give you an example. I got them myself. I love them. I play with them all day long. But I told them, and YouTube, this is not a actual firearm. This is a Nerf gun. So, you know, I play with my kids too with the Nerf guns. I know a lot of people say you shouldn't play with Nerf guns. Well, my son, he has shot real guns. So he's been exposed very, very early to firearms and the damage that they can cause. And so, you know, him playing with, you know, his Nerf, and as you can see, it's an actual Nerf gun. Let me go ahead and pull this out so y'all understand. I don't want nobody to say it's real. No, it's not real. It's an actual Nerf. So I don't want nobody hollering talking about. But you know, he was, and they both was like, "Well, Dad, your gun is a lot heavier than ours." I said, "That's the difference between the gun that I carry and the gun that you guys play with. Mine is meant to do harm. Yours is meant to, you know, play around with, you know, run around the yard and just shoot it." And so, at a very young age, they understood what it can do, the after effect, the effects of after you shoot it, and you maybe have to, you know, shoot a target, understanding that you don't aim this and then you don't intend to, you know, bring harm to. And so they knew all this stuff before even me taking my son to the gun range. I think my son started, he'd be 15, so I think my son probably started a little bit after 13. going on 14 is when I start taking him to the range and him being able to shoot. I mean, he shot everything from an AR-15, shotgun, the KSG, handguns, rifles, pistol rifles. So he didn't shot it all. And so with him, he understands. Now I got to get my daughter. I just taught her the 4 gun rule safety. I mean the 4 safety of handling a firearm. And so her next step is me to get her in the range, get her to shoot a 22, get comfortable. My rule in this house is everybody has to learn how to shoot something. Now, if you want to turn it into you want to go to competitions and stuff like that, eventually we'll get to that point. Because I want to take my son to US PSA match. I do want to do that. I want to participate in one. And so that's what I plan to do with him. Take him and let him do a little couple once a year. Take him and have him do some competitions as well. And so parents. My kids have an understanding. I'm not going to jail for you. Only time I get in jail if somebody is harming you or somebody is threatening you and I have to put someone down because of that purpose, then that's what I'm willing to do to make sure I save your life. As far as going out here acting a fool, being a fool, messing with folks, getting yourself in trouble, breaking in people's houses, and you end up getting on the line because of your bad behavior, then hey, or you get locked up because of your bad behavior, I'll throw a couple dollars on your books. And the best of luck to you while you're in there. Because I'm not, I was looking at this one episode where this dude, he was in and out of trouble. He had finally got sentenced to a long time. And back then in prison, the outside member could make you a dentist appointment or make you a doctor's appointment. I don't think they do that no more. And she ended up having her son escape. That stuff like that I'm not doing. I'm not helping you escape. Nothing. Not happening. Don't call me talking about I need your help to escape. You come to my house and you ain't been released from prison, you got a bigger problem than you think. Don't come to my house. I'm not harboring no fugitive. I'm not doing none of that. It's just I'm just not. I'm not down for the wrong thing. Do mistakes happen? Yes. My children make mistakes just like I made mistakes. But I'm also there to kind of pick you up and keep you from always. My job is to make sure that you don't do it twice. And within that twice, showing you and giving you advice on how to avoid that situation again. That is my job as your parent. I ain't here to make sure you got a Gucci belt on or some Gucci loafers. My job is to feed you, clothe you, put a shelter over your head, and teach you as you grow. And in order to teach a child how to grow, you have to be, what's going on 2A in LA? You have to be mature enough to be able to teach him or her what she needs to do or what he needs to do in times when they're dealing with adversity. Planning a school shooting with your child is not teaching him how to grow or her how to grow. You're only putting toxicity into the air because you're not mature enough to have a grown conversation with your child. Yeah, things might not be going right, but to go shoot up the school is not a way to handle your problems. Children can be real cruel. Don't get me wrong, they can. But it's how do you feel about yourself? I send my kids this particular text message every morning. I try to do it every morning. I don't do it every morning. Let me not make that mistake. But I try to make it my by me reading the book Atomic Behavior, that's something that I want to make a part of my daily routine, my daily behavior, is to text my kids each and every day a scripture that I text them each and every day. Let me pull this text up that I try to text them every day. Because at the end of the day, I want them to know that their father loves them. And I want them to hear it from me. To let them know that they are loved at home, that you don't have to prove yourself to anyone to know that you're important. You're very important in this household. You'll always be important. You don't need to prove yourself to be important to people that may not have your best interest in heart. When I text my daughter, so I said to my daughter Maya, I love you and I'm so proud of the strong, beautiful, and intelligent woman you're becoming. You're royalty. Wear your crown proudly, adjust it when needed, but never take it off. You're fierce, fit, and fabulous. Never give up on your dreams. Be the best you can be. Stay amazing. Love your dad. So I try to text that to her every day, include my goddaughters. I text them the same. I text them the same message. One is in college. One just graduated high school this year. So I try to instill in them that you are important. You're very important, and don't let nobody trick you out of how important you are to the people that love you. And the reason why I text it is I want them to reassure that just can't nobody come up to me and tell me any old thing. All right, this is what I texted my son. I said to my son Jamal, never forget that I love you. I hope you believe in yourself as much as I believe in you. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, remember whose son you are and straighten your crown. I can't promise to be here for the rest of your life, but I can promise I love you for the rest of mine. You'll always be my prince to my throne. Love your dad. And so I try to, as you can see, let me see. That's it right there. And so I try to, reassure that hey, you always can come home. You always have support. You always have the support system here at home. And I want them to know and understand that. And that's the same thing with my daughter. Can't nobody come up to her and just tell her any old thing. She know her father loves her. She know her father will crash out for her. But I'm a crash out for the right reason. I'm not gonna crash out for the wrong reasons, but I'm gonna crash out for the legitimate and the right reasons only. And so, with the world that we live in, you first have to understand who you are as a parent, what you're gonna take and what you're not gonna take. Knowing that your children are gonna make mistakes. I don't know no child that ain't ever made a mistake. Every child, from when they're born to the point that they can walk, that means from your child trying to close the door as a toddler, your child trying to touch the stove when you're cooking, they're going to make mistakes once they start walking. It's walking and talking. With the mistakes that they make, you have to be that reinforcement to say, hey, keep your head up. Remember what you went through and never forget. Never forget what you went through so you can remember what not to go through. And I'm here to help shape and mold you. That's what that Atomic Habits was teaching me. We are the first line of defense on teaching our children their habits. What habits are you teaching your children once they're able to walk and talk? I want to teach my children how to be responsible. If you borrow some of somebody's, or you say you want to give somebody stuff back, or you're going to borrow some money from somebody, then you need to give them that money back. Don't borrow more than you can give back. So that means you see this $10,000 watch and you want to ask somebody for a $10,000 loan. Well, there's going to be interest on top of it. You're going to pay an extra for that $10,000 loan. Is that $10,000 loan worth the money for that watch? Being responsible, understanding that you got to put your needs before your wants. Being able to money manage your money so you'll be able to not live paycheck to paycheck. Stuff like that. Being able to save a little bit of your money instead of spending it all. Being able to know who is in your corner and who is not in your corner. Being able to make the right friends along the way. Some friends that, if y'all out and about, y'all having a good time, and you see that things are going to turn not in your favor. Hey, let's get up out of here. It's getting a little bit too crowded. Let's get up out of here. Let's try to find another joint. If not, let's head home. Decision making, man. When I'm not around, when you're old enough to be able to drive, don't drink and drive. Don't smoke and drive. Yeah, you could smoke, but smoke at home. Don't be behind the wheel while you're smoking. Don't be impaired. These are the things that you need to learn that you're not gonna budge on. Yeah, go and drink and drive. Watch you get your license and get your car impounded. Now you gotta borrow money to get your car out. Get drunk and run a curb. Now you gotta get money to fix your car. Decision making is gonna be a very big part of them growing up, and you have to be the first line of defense and say, "Nah, you weren't right in this case. You was wrong. You was dead wrong." Maybe you do owe her or him an apology, and that's not going to decrease your manhood because you have to apologize for something you did. It's only saying that you're a bigger person. You understand the mistake that you made, and you're willing to go back to fix that mistake. If they don't accept your apology, hey, at some point it's time. Maybe you outgrown that person as a friend. If you see him in the streets, don't be mad. Don't disrespect nobody, but you can say hi, bye. If you apologizing is for you, not for them. A sincere apology, not no bull crap. And so we have to learn to apologize when we offend someone. And so learning how to deal with situations ultimately comes from the household that you're in. If you have a mother or father, the first thing they want to do is argue, cuss, fuss, and fight. Then guess what that child is going to learn how to do when it comes to an obstacle or dealing with somebody at school. Well, only thing I know my mama do is yell. Yelling leads to fight. Instead of just, oh, you know what, you got it. You good. But one thing you're not going to do, you're not going to put your hands on it. You talk all the tough talk you want to talk. But as soon as you swing or you put your hands on me, then I have to defend myself. I'm not saying that everything is going to go right when you even try to, when you try to dislodge yourself from the situation. I'm all about, trying to avoid the situation as much as possible. But if you have to defend yourself, then you have to defend yourself. I'm going to give you a story about my daughter when she was in elementary. I don't understand what this boy had going on that day, but he decided he wanted to put my daughter in a headlock. And I believe my daughter slammed him or something. It was something of that sort, which she didn't want to go to school the next day, which I understand. I understood it. I deeply understood. And so I ended up talking to the principal the next day when I came to pick her up. Matter of fact, the principal before had retired a year before, and then they had a new principal. And I ended up talking to her, and she said, well, we did suspend him. The mother was very disappointed in her son. And I said, okay, well, as long as it don't happen again, I'm fine. But I've taught my daughter, never let nobody get in your space. If they get in your space, kind of back up, tell them, you're in my personal space. I advise you to back up. If they keep coming, then you have to do what you have to do. If that means you have to punch them to get them up off of you, so he won't be able to grab you, then you do what you have to do. And we'll deal with the consequences later. But conflict resolution, learning how to deal with certain situations, a lot of stuff don't need to go to a fist fight. A lot of it's just, hey, you know what I'm saying? Whatever they told you, I ain't say such. But in some cases, you have to defend yourself. And I'm all about defending myself, even when I'm trying to remove myself from the situation. And so, parents, we're not our child's friend. Do I do fun things with my son? Yes. With my daughter? Yes. Absolutely. But they also understand when I tell them to do something, I need it done. But I'm also I'm learning how to be a patient and understanding father. My dad, he wasn't the type that'll be patient. If somebody tell him something, the first thing you're gonna do is get the belt, you getting a whooping. So patience and understanding wasn't my daddy's strongest suit. And so I learned from my dad. My wife had to tell me, and that's okay for somebody to come along, or somebody that's close to you, somebody that's part of the family, or somebody that's in your family, tell you that you're doing something wrong. So I had to take the mirror and point it at myself and really have a deep look at myself and wonder what was going on at that time with my son. And I had to really sit down and really say, I'm starting to be like my father, the one that I did not want to be like. Now I have my daddy work ethic. I have my daddy's determination. Um, I did develop my daddy's stubbornness. I'm patient, being impatient, uh, not being understanding. And so you develop them type of character. Like I said, in atomic behavior, family habit. I mean, in atomic habits. One of them was called your family habits. That's the people that you grow up with. That's how you shape your habit, through the people that you grow up with. And when you get in the world, then you got your group habits. The people you hang around. You know what I'm saying? Who you hang out with will sometimes more than likely will determine who you're going to be. And if you're around productive, successful, career-driven people, then after a while okay, all right. Then you have to take a strong look at yourself and be like, oh, okay. And then you got successful people. You always want to be around successful people. What are they doing to be successful? What are they um are they right? Do they do other people right? Are they gentle with people? Are they sincere? You know what I'm saying? You take the good from the bad. Everybody has some good, everybody has some bad in them. But you try to channel your good more than your bad habits. And so you try to channel your good habits and try to bring those forth and try to reduce your bad habits and work on getting rid of them bad habits. And so, man, for the parents, planning school shootings with your children is not the way to go. See what's going on with them. Asking them questions, the hard questions. Like I did my son. Ain't nothing. No, something going on. Your mama called me. What's going on, son? Well, the band teacher, I got cussed out by the band teacher, such and such. Okay, well, we can deal with that. Let's have a conversation about it. Don't push me away. Let's have the hard conversations. And that's what I'm here for. When you're having a rough time, when you're not understanding, let's have that conversation. Now, is the band teacher right or is the band teacher wrong? I don't know. But you have been put in a leadership position. So sometimes you got to get on your guys. Hey, let's stop horse playing around. Let's get it together. I'm getting yelled at. I'm getting cussed at because y'all ain't doing what y'all need to do. Y'all ain't playing hard. Or y'all ain't playing hard enough. Let's figure this thing out. And so you have to be the reasoning to your children. And so that was my reasoning. Hey, take yourself a break if you got to take a mental break. I'm not mad at you. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong at the same time. But if you decide to take that mental break, then you need to inform your band teacher that you need to take a break. and stand 10 toes down on it. Because one day you're gonna have children. One day you're gonna have to have a house to take care of. And so the decisions that you make will affect the people in your household. And so communication is very important, because if they don't know what's going on with you and something comes up, then it sidetracks the whole family. Then I mean, you haven't had effective communication. And that's what that's one of my goals, is to have effective communication with my children. Let's have the conversation. Let's have a small talk about it. Let me see where your mind is at. What you're thinking. Yeah, well, that's some bull. I ain't messing up in these guys, and they don't think they playing hard enough, and okay, let's have a conversation, son. This is how you handle this. As a man, this is how you handle it. Take heed and handle it as a man that you're supposed to be. You're gonna be a man one day. Certain situation, people cuss you out, job ain't going right. You're gonna have to sit down and you're gonna have to woosah and figure it out, and go back the next day with a fresher mind, with a fresher attitude, and get it done. What you gonna do? You gonna go in there? Because I don't disagree. I disagree with the manager, that I'm just gonna go shoot my job up because we had a disagreement. No, learn how to deal with different people and within that your workspace. I had a manager that didn't like me, but guess what? You not liking me does not have nothing to do with my job performance. And if you keep on playing with me, I'm gonna put paperwork on you for harassment. I'm not gonna argue. I'm not gonna fuss. I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. It's a simple, what do you need to do? As my job description, what do you need me to do? And do you have me doing anything extra outside my job description? Long as it's not disrespecting me, long as it's not disrespecting or belligerent me, hey, as long as it's in the job description, you good. I got you. But you ain't gonna keep picking with me. And I'm not gonna come up here and shoot up my workplace because I have a disagreement. I don't know what that situation was at school, but I'm just giving an example of, work situation or work shootings, where we're just recently, I believe two nurses got into it or something, and one of the nurses shot the other nurse in the parking lot because of a disagreement the day before or something like that. Learning how to deal with your coworkers without putting yourself in jail, putting yourself or being unalived, for just a simple, all right, you got it, I'm good, you can have it, and go back to what you was doing. People make it hard. I'm not gonna sit up here and say it's easy. People make a lot of situations a lot difficult than what they need to be. Work, your children, your spouse, your friends. I mean, it's a plethora of things that I can yell out, and say for many reasons why. But we are who our children see first. We are the behavior that they mimic. How you talk to people, how you interact with people. You teach your children how to act and interact with people. Yeah, you talk to somebody, and then if they're not listening to what you're saying, and then the teachers are not paying attention to you, then you need to let me know, and I'll call a meeting, and we'll get it straight. And so I'm not the first one to say fight. I'm the first one to say, hey, try to get out of it without any physical altercation. But if they keep on walking, don't turn your back. Never turn your back to somebody that you are in a disagreement with. But slowly kind of make sure you ain't walking into nobody or tripping or nothing. But you never turn your back on somebody you're having a disagreement with. And if they present themselves to where they're going to swing, and you're able to, get away from that swing, then you know what you need to do next. You need to defend yourself. And so that it is what it is at that point. Man, thank y'all for tuning in. I'm about to get out of here. But parents, if you're not mature enough to raise your child without planning school shootings with them, then you need to you need to do some reevaluation within yourself, because there's no way that my son or my daughter gonna come to me and say they want to go shoot up their school, and then I'm supposed to be okay with it. I'm gonna help you plan it. Yeah, no problem. Nah, we're not doing that. What's going on that you need to go do that for? Let's have the conversation. Well, why? What's the point of that? What are you going to get out of that? Yeah, you're going to unalive some people, but ultimately, what is your goal within doing that? If it's a bully, if it's somebody we need to have a conversation with, bring their parents in, then we need to have that conversation. But there's no reason for you to go pick up a gun and plan a school shooting. I'm not helping you do that. There is no way that I'm gonna help you do something like that when there's other parents that have children in that school. I'm just not going to do it. And so, parents, be mindful of what's going on with your children. Even when they don't want to have that conversation, kind of gently pull it up out of them. I'm learning how to do that with my son. He don't really talk, but I'm learning how to, gently, hey, what's going on? Let's have a heart-to-heart, hard conversation on what's going on. And that has actually been working with him. And I don't fuss, I don't holler, I don't cuss. But we have a conversation, such and such, this, that, and that, maybe you need to such and such this. I'm not telling you what to do, but maybe you need to such and such this and this. Whatever decision you decide to make, I'm behind you 100%. Long as it's the right decision, long as you're doing right. When you start doing wrong, then I can't support wrong. You know what I'm saying? I can help you with a mistake, but I can't if you're intentionally doing wrong, I can't help you with doing wrong. That's something I'm not willing to do. And so, am I naive that my son doesn't cuss when he's not around me? No, I'm not that naive. I'm not that stupid. I know that he probably does, because we kind of go off the hinges sometimes. Well, I kind of calm down, but his mom kind of goes off the hinges sometimes. And so I used to be bad at it. So I kind of try to calm myself down with all the cussing, you know what I'm saying? And so be aware of what you do and how you handle your children. I'm learning, and I've learned, and I'm continuing to grow on being an understanding and a patient father. Was I that at first when I had children? No, I was irritated. I was, going off the hinges, and but I've learned to have a conversation. Let's see what you're going through, and let's talk about it. Let's try to give a different solutions to what you're going through, to try to solve what you're going through. And ultimately, with my son, it has worked, and I will continue to do that. Continue to grow as a father, continue to evolve as a father to my two children, and continuing to grow so they can understand what growing looks like, growing up looks like, being able to apologize and still, and my son, still feel like you're a man. It's okay. You can apologize for making a mistake or doing something that you did not know of, and somebody said, "Well, you hurt me," and you can say, "Okay, man. Well, I truly apologize. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. And I'm so sorry." And I kind of make sure that I'm aware of what I say around you or what I say to you. And you go about your day. Ain't nothing wrong with apologizing for doing something wrong or offending somebody. This world is so wrapped up with disrespect. I'm not disrespected if I don't feel like I'm being disrespected in this world that, everything little thing is a disrespect. Now, everything is not little. It's not disrespect. You know what I'm saying? And people die behind respect or unalive. It's unalive by, the disrespect word. Just as long as you not, no harm to my children, no harm to my wife, no harm to my family members. Talking trash is not going to affect me. And so certain things I will bring the hammer down on. Certain things I'm just talking, I'm going to let it go. I'm in my 40s and whatever. I ain't got time for foolishness. I'll leave you there arguing with yourself before I get in a big shout match with you. Leave you right down the parking lot arguing with yourself looking stupid. I got too much to lose. And I'm not willing to lose it over an argument because you want to be ignorant. What's going on, OG Tank? And so a lot of situations I walk away, especially now that I'm a gun owner. I walk away from a lot of stuff. I got too much to lose. I'm not willing to lose it over a parking spot. I'm not willing to lose it over road rage. I'm not willing to lose it because of somebody wanted to come outside and be ignorant today. I know that I'm not willing to lose what I worked so hard for a fool. I'm not willing to give it up for a fool. So a fool can be a fool all by himself. And I'm going to keep on continuing to continue to move forward, continue to do what I need to do to make sure my family is good. And a lot of times I ignore ignorance. I ignore fools. I got to the point where if a woman, and there's no offense to women, but if a woman and a man and her boyfriend get into it, or her husband get into it, and now if he strikes her, then I'm going to have to say something, and then I'm going to have to get on the phone with the police. I'm not going to intervene. I'm not going to walk over there. I'm just not going to do that. But I will, hey, y'all are in public, you're, making it everybody's business around you, and well, nigga, this, that, all the time that I'm on the phone with the police. I'm not going to get in a physical altercation with a young man, but I will get the authorities involved if I see that. Because I want somebody to get involved. If my daughter, and I don't wish that on my daughter, but I don't wish that on anybody that's connected to me. But at least instead of pulling out the phone to record everything, and if you do, that's fine too. But at least have the police on the phone. I'm not willing to get shot, but I am willing to call you some help. And so, man, parents be parents. They're your friend. They're not your friends at the end of the day. They're not. You don't go to school with them. You take care of them. But also be patient and understanding as well. Be patient and understanding as well. And I'm speaking to myself as well. I'm learning and I'm continuing to grow, to continue to be patient with my children and also be an understanding father. And so with that, y'all, I am out of here. My hour. I done went over my hour. Almost at an hour and 30 minutes. It was definitely a great conversation. I will start back going regularly on my Sundays at 2:00. Before I have to head to France pretty soon. But I am starting to get back into my routine on my Sundays at 2:00. 2 p.m. Eastern time. Anybody know somebody that knows somebody, tell them to come in on Sundays and have a great conversation, man. This is great conversations to me, especially in the world that we live in today. We have sick parents just like we have sick children. You know what I'm saying? Emotionally, they're just not there, and you got to call it what it is. You can't not call it what it is, and then expect everything to get better. And if you're not mentally, if you're mentally unstable, it's definitely DJ Play Nice on plenty of my lives and put the information in this for a crisis. If you're in a crisis, get that number. Go to one of my old lives and grab that information off the screen. If you know somebody that's going through a crisis, grab that information off the screen. If they don't want to talk to you, and try and get them some help. It's okay to ask for help, man. We here in the Black community, you know, one taught that help is a good thing. It's okay to get some help, man, and be healthy mentally. It starts with your mental being right, and if your mental right, then you can raise mentally right children that's going to make that, what I'm saying, it's going to make correct decisions in the heat of a moment, or when that pressure cooker is being cranked up. Oh, thank you, DJ, to Play Nice for it. But there you go. Anybody that needs to talk, you can hit that line right there, or you just want to do it by text message. That is available as well. Thank you, DJ Play Nice, man. He's one of my moderators. Miss Ewing is one of my moderators. I think I got 5 altogether. Who else is one of my narrators? Moderators. Carbon Q. A couple of my moderators. Yeah. If you know anybody that's in a crisis right now, have them reach out to that line, that number, to get some help. And with that being said, man, everybody, happy Memorial Day to all the soldiers that serve the country to protect this country. Shout out to you guys. Y'all are the big heroes tomorrow. My mother is a 20-year veteran. Shout out to my mom for serving 20 years in the U.S. Army. Thank you, Mama, for your services. And I thank God for getting her home when she had to go over there and, do her thing across the seas. And some of the things she has seen, some of her fellow soldiers, brothers and sisters she has lost due to battle. So shout out to my mom. Shout out to her friends that served in the U.S. military, and the ones that she has lost through the military and through battle. And so shout out to them. Celebrate, man. If you have a veteran in your family that does serve, I don't care if it's 2. Normally it's 4 years. So if they serve 2 and more or 1 year, thank you for your service. Thank you, DJ Play Nice. Appreciate it. That's something I'm still kind of, I don't really know how to go back into. But if you want to, the YouTube will be posted. It'll be posted on YouTube once I close it out. If you want to go back and advise somebody or have them look at it, man, I greatly appreciate you guys. I believe, monetized. I did get that from YouTube a couple weeks ago. So shout out to them and myself. No, not me. Shout out to you guys for supporting a little boy like myself. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys for just coming through, hitting that subscribe button anytime I drop a video. Shout out to Eyes and Ears. He's always dropping. DJ Play Nice. He's always dropping a comment. The Ewans are always dropping a comment. Shout out to you guys that's always dropping a comment every time I post a video. Integrity, thank you, man. Bug, all you guys for leaving a comment after watching my videos, man. It means so much to a little country boy like myself. All right, y'all. It is your favorite gun on the Checking Out Jay Skilly. May God bless each and every one of you guys. Go celebrate a veteran, man. Go celebrate a veteran. Thank you. If you see a veteran while you out and about today, say thank you for your service. I'm always, if I see you got something on and say you military, I always tell them thank you for your service. You don't know how much that means to them guys to hear you say thank you for your service. Some of them have been through more than others over there while battling, while in war. Some of them will come home with all type of stuff going on. And man, thank you guys. Thank you veterans. Thank you active military brothers and sisters in the military right now. This is for y'all. Thank you, man. Thank you. All right, y'all. I'm out. Peace. Be safe. love on one another, treat each other with kindness, and put God first, man. Put God first. If you don't, put something first. Believe in something. I'm not gonna force, what I believe in, but y'all be safe, man.